Welcome, everybody, to the Offbeat Podcast, the podcast about music and everything in and around it. My name is Rick. Today, we are joined by my good friend and compatriot, Sandel Garafa, with an X.
Yes, with the X.
Is that appropriate?
Yes.
X?
Strong X.
A strong X. I like that. And then over to my right, we have Full Frame Zone. I'm sorry, 413 Zone. Full Frame Media.
Yes.
Shannon Ortega.
We're here.
Hey, welcome. Welcome to the pod.
I'm glad to be here.
I mean, to be fair, Shannon is literally always here every time we record this.
Yes. Behind the scenes.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I can't tell you how much for me as a guy who likes to produce content, having somebody off camera doing shit is incredible. It is a highly satisfactory experience, if I do say so myself.
I'm here for it.
Well, thank you. I like the way you're holding that microphone, Shannon.
It's natural, you know. I feel like this can easily turn into like a Dr. Phil session. So guys, tell me.
Did you see the video of the guy who went on Dr. Phil dressed as Dr. Phil?
No.
I forget who it was. He
That's
was
great.
it was something like bum fights or something like that. And Dr. Phil had him on because he was exploiting people. So he was kind of giving it back to Dr. Phil saying, you are exploiting people also. He kicked him off the show, obviously. Anyway, sidebar there, guys.
That's genius.
I'm pretty good at just pulling stuff out of thin air. It's a gift and a curse.
That's fine.
Actually, I was talking to my wife yesterday about this, watching a little TV. And I can't help, and Eddie, shout out to Eddie who's not here.
Yeah, shout out
To
to
miss you, brother. Eddie's busy doing stuff, so I'm sure we'll see him back here real soon. The reason I bring up Eddie is because Eddie is like a movie aficionado, right? And so like every time, I'll be at home watching movies, and I can't help but have some sort of commentary bullshit, right? The bullshit that I was talking about. So yesterday we're watching Mission Impossible 2. What a cringe fest that was. I haven't watched it in years. Like since it came out, I haven't watched it. So it's like directed by John Woo, and it's got all these super cringe moments. I'm like, I can't believe like this is a film. Like you can, anyway, sorry, I'm getting excited, you guys. All that to say is I always have commentary. And sometimes I'm like, gosh, I really hope people don't mind that I always feel the need to say some bullshit.
Are you the guy that knows the random facts and like random quotes of movies and stuff?
I'm not, no. We have a friend, shout out to Matt. He's like the ultimate trivia guy. He'll be like, did you know that in 1972 they filmed this? I can't do it, but he's that guy.
Yeah. I watch movies, like nothing crazy. Like I'm not like a movie aficionado or whatever that is. But people that can memorize lines from movies and just repeat them in regular everyday conversation surprise me every day. Like I don't remember one-liners from movies unless it was like super hilarious, like Step Brothers, get your balls off my drum set. I mean that's like it's so out there, but like random like quotes.
Yeah,
I can't.
It's got to be timeless, like
Luke, I am your father.
right.
See, okay. All right, so yes and no. I get what you're saying, but like for example, the show The Wire.
Okay.
That show had a lot of material as far as lingo, like Europe. That's where it came from.
Okay.
From Snoop, that she was that.
I didn't know that. Good
Right.
to know.
So there's a lot of stuff that yes, I guess I understand. For example, also like the group Wu-Tang, they have a lot of lingo that is still used today. Like for example, Steez, that came from them. So I guess yes, I agree. But there are certain things sometimes that the reference sticks with you, and you know the lines or you know the references and the words, and it could be randomly for anything. So.
Like I remember the general idea of what people say, but like the verbatim,
Word for word. Yeah.
like there's the saying in like Avengers, I don't know what the line is, but he basically said after everything you do, you still have to come back to me.
Yeah.
but the line is like I remember that he said that.
Oh, like Thanos?
Yeah, but like people know the actual verbatim.
Yeah. Like for example, when it comes to that, I think my movie is Dumb and Dumber. There's just so many one-liners. Like, here's a hitchhiker, pick him up. So like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of things that I know that if somebody says it, I was like, oh yeah, it's Dumb and Dumber. So that movie I have.
For me is Anchorman by like a long shot. Like
Anchorman has a lot of good ones too.
Like I've made a lot of friends purely on the basis of we understand Anchorman language.
Yeah, like I Love Lamp.
Yeah, I Love Lamp. 60% of the time it works
That's
every
my
time.
favorite one.
Yeah, I mean it's
my favorite one.
Sex Panther. Like I mean, there's just so many.
The optical illusion with his pants.
Yeah. It's the pleats in the pants. There's just, matter of fact,
Anchorman's a great movie.
It's such a great movie. We were watching it the other day. My daughter's boyfriend Zach over the house, and we're like, what do we watch? And it's my wife and I, my daughter Ari and Zach. Whatever. Somehow we land on, oh my God, you haven't seen Anchorman, Ari? And then Zach was super excited to play, so we played it. And so I'm like, I'm dying because I'm like, this is great. Like they're probably not enjoying this as much as like me and Zach were, or Zach and I, excuse me. But anyway, long story short, I'm like low key saying the lines. 60%. You know, because I know the lines. I'm like, I have to say it, but I don't want to be like that guy always saying everything. So I'm like, I know the lines. I know the lines. I've watched that movie way too much.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
People there's a lot of people that don't like it, but you have to enjoy that type of humor.
It's acquired
that's
taste.
what it is. Definitely acquired taste.
And also of its time, right? Because like that type of comedy doesn't land exactly the same way. Because now, like I appreciate it, like from the like. I mean, it's still funny to me, but I feel like it's probably more nostalgia than like I enjoy it today, maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
Because like a modern day comedy is not going to have like even the movie Knocked Up, which is a hilarious movie. Like that movie, but like again, it's of an era, right? Judd Apatow. I'm getting this wrong. I'm sorry, Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie's not here.
Judd Apatow, I think, is the director who did a bunch of those like movies like Superbad.
Yep.
Right, same kind of like hitting a lot of the similar notes, a lot of the same casting. Anyway, but yeah, movies. I'm a big fan.
I would say too the reason the comedy now is a little different. The stuff we used to laugh at before was dark. Just like, well, at the time it wasn't dark.
Like inappropriate?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So like, people try to cancel like comedians for stuff they said. You know.
Oh yeah.
Hangover, the movie.
Oh my God.
Paging Dr. F. He thought I was gonna say it.
Hilarious though, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was hilarious at the time.
But now you throw that
Still
in there,
is.
you're getting canceled.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes.
Paramount Plus. I was on some shit on Reddit the other day where like people were like, Paramount Plus is the app. People were like, oh, you know, the president of the company was like, oh, we're not going to take anything off. We're not going to censor anything because, like, you know, it was of the time. And people get real stupid about that, right? Oh, to your point about The Hangover, right? That was of that time. Offensive or not, whatever, irrelevant. The point is, like, you have to take the data or the content in its time. Like, you can't remove it. Like Revenge of the Nerds, like all of those movies of that era, like they're super inappropriate for many different reasons, right? But like you have to just, that was from then, you know? I think Disney Plus does something like they'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of whatever their old content is and say, hey, here it is. Like we didn't edit it out, but like just keep in mind, like this wasn't, we're not trying to, you know, pitch this as like modern day thinking, obviously.
Yeah. In a lot of movies, streaming platforms, they show like a censored version. Like they'll remove a whole scene or change the word. But that's like, I don't know if it was Netflix or somewhere. I saw Hangover again, and that part, they use a different word. I don't know what it was, but they overdubbed it to something else. It just
That's terrible, man.
It didn't hit the same. And obviously, like, I'm not condoning the word, but it's so out there that it's kind of just like, that's kind of funny. Like it's a fine line,
of course. But again, I think that's the thing with comedy. Like, and I think I'm not going to be able to articulate this, but I feel like Chappelle's spoken on this. It's like the reason comedy's funny is because a lot of it is based on reality. So much of it is based on reality, right? So like, you're laughing because you know the thing I said is true, right? It hit a nerve with you, and so like, it's not a fabrication or an exaggeration as much as it's just like a commentary on society at the time, right? So you think about Eddie Murphy when he did Delirious or when he did Raw. Oh, those are crazy.
He was dropping
yes.
all type of profanity.
Yeah. But that's what comedy is you either make fun of somebody or you're making fun of something. That's all it is. It's just, you have to go with that mentality. If you're going to be like, oh my God, did he just say this and that? And I was like,
right.
I think the best part of comedy is because a lot of the comedians that I like, they're talking about their struggle. Like, whether it be poverty, whether it be like, whatever. So it's something dark. Like, I have a dark sense of humor. People don't really know that. Some people know it.
The people who listen to the Offbeat Podcast now know that.
But like dark in the sense, like, my father died when I was 8, and like on Father's Day, a buddy of mine said something, and I'm like, it'd be good to have a father. Like, I just threw it in there, like, but stuff people can't laugh at. They're just kind of like,
yeah, a little bit of shock, like,
yeah.
But it's
am I allowed to laugh?
It's just dark.
Yeah.
Well, like you're just saying right now, it's not just dark, but you got to be open to that darkness.
Yeah.
Because if you're just constantly gonna be like, oh wait, I don't want to walk in like eggshells if I'm watching something or trying to be funny. I was like, wait a minute, should I be saying this? That's just not who I am.
Right.
Yet you should always have a filter with certain things,
sure,
obviously. But at the same time, to have like the super filter where everything, should I say this? That becomes stressful after a while, man.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I feel like, and I don't want to go here. I'm just going to tiptoe around this.
Yeah.
But like, I spent a lot of my life in that area, right? Of like, well, with this group of people, I can speak this way. But with this other group of people, I can be like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep it real, right? And like, that's really odd. And so eventually, right, and it might have something to do with age. I'll attribute it to age, sure. Like, eventually you grow up and you're like, who cares? The freedom from just being like, nah, man, like, I am who I am, flaws and all. Take it or leave it. Sorry if you don't like it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should be. And that's it. And like you said, whether you like me or not, that's up to you, not me.
I just saw a TikTok. I'm trying to see if I can find it, but I'm not gonna play it. But basically, it was someone found a Twitter thread on Twitter, obviously. It was like men's banter.
Okay.
And how men would, like, something terrible can happen to you. We first like find out if you're okay. Then after that, it's fair game.
Yeah.
Like one of the things they said was like, some guy said like, he had gone through like a huge depression like spout, and like his friends were there for him. They go pick him up. So then he was saying, now every time we go to coffee, they order him a depresso. like it's something dark, but like with your homies, like you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure like if someone else cracked on that guy's depression,
right.
like his friends would be like, chill.
Yeah.
I think every guy understands what that is, right?
Yeah.
But like out of context, I can see where it'd be like.
I use my boy Pando. Shout out to Pando. He has a stomach condition. That's a serious one, and he gets. I call it Crohn's disease. He gets a little upset, but it's a little banter we have. But I'm known as the.
He gets a little upset.
I'm not a little upset. He's like, man, this guy again.
He gets upset when you call it that.
Yeah, because it's not.
Got it.
But I don't know what else. Like, he doesn't know what else to call it. It's like undiagnosed.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was IBS. That's what he called it.
Because he doesn't know what else to call it.
Yeah, people. IBS is like a catch-all for.
Like his whole thing is like there's no diagnosis.
I guess I have IBS too, then.
Yeah.
So because there's no official diagnosis, I'm like, it could be Crohn's disease. But it's obviously we know it's not.
You should see a doctor about that.
Wow.
Shout out to Pando.
Hey. man.
Shout out.
So, wow. All right. Well, we're here, guys. So, was it last week that we had the NBA Finals, where the C's took a nice L?
Love it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Xander, are you a C's fan?
I'm not. I appreciate their team.
You're a basketball fan,
right?
First
but
and
I like their
foremost.
team. I definitely like their team. I really
in
thought,
the series. Who were you rooting for? Let's just.
I was going for the C's in 7.
Okay.
I really thought they had a chance.
Okay.
A lot of fool's gold happening, but I really thought they had a chance. I'm gonna go there.
Shannon.
As an official hater of the Celtics,
Okay.
because I'm a Lakers fan, I obviously sided with the Warriors. Originally, I said Warriors in 5.
Wow. Disrespectful.
And you know what? The first game was a fluke. Like, I don't want to get into the details of it anyways, but as an official, like, a person that understands basketball, the hater in me was like Warriors in 5, but like the realist in me, I thought I was going to go 7 games.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, they broke apart, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think, it was a great series. Nonetheless, the games are great. I just hate the Celtics. Mainly the fan base.
Okay. Is it okay? So let me just for a second, a little parenthetical over here. Do you hate New England sports fans in general?
No.
Okay. So just basketball specifically? Because usually it's a wide net, right? Like everybody just hates sports.
I guess I dislike very hardcore annoying fans. So
But
it could
isn't
be
that every fan, though?
not really.
Okay.
I mean, I think I'm a Lakers fan.
Okay.
But I'm realistic. Like, I know my Lakers suck. Like, whatever. Like, I hate LeBron fans.
Okay.
Like,
Because they're so diehard.
they're annoying. They might as well be cradled under his nuts.
I see.
Yeah, and I'm just like, he's a great player. Like, but come on, man. So it's more that. It's more like,
Okay, you don't
I hate
like
groupies.
the diehardness.
yeah.
But isn't that
But I think it's even more than that, though, because there's like, you can be a really like, you can be a fan, like
yep.
a diehard fan, but then you can be an annoying fan, an extreme fan.
Okay.
There's levels to it.
You're not wrong. Xander, any thoughts on
Yeah, it's because the fans that I think he's talking about is, say, whenever there's a game going on, they always find something, the reason why we lost.
Oh, right.
It's because of X, Y, and Z, or there's always a reason why the way things happen. Usually the game is rigged. It's the number one. You know, how much the ref gets paid or this and that. But they completely are blind to their superstar getting locked up the whole season.
Right.
And completely vanishing the team. Like, you don't have to be Kobe, which he really thought he was. Like, he really thought he was channeling his spirit.
Tatum.
Because, yes, Jason Tatum, and this is what happens with a lot of young players, is that some analysts or journalists compares you to these greats.
Yeah.
But these kids haven't done shit yet. Like, Tatum is good, but he hasn't done anything.
Right.
Like, nothing has happened yet. You just shown that you could be a good, potentially great player. Potential is great, but you haven't done anything. You cannot be compared to Kobe Bryant or be even named in the same sense as Kobe Bryant. You haven't done anything. So they start hyping him up. He starts coming to practice with all this Kobe gear, 24. I'm like, oh boy, you're sending juju on yourself, my friend.
Someone shared a screenshot that he sent a screenshot of Kobe's number.
Yeah, that's what I was like. It was just, he was my favorite. Like, I get it. Like, that's okay. But now you have to show us who you are. Show us you. And I got to say this, though. The Celtics had the hardest journey to the finals. I'll tell them that. Like, they had hard team after hard team. It just became harder and harder every time. So I give them that. But yeah, it's just, Stephen Curry is not getting a lot. Well, now he is. But beforehand, before he was injured, he was slowly being called off like, oh, I think he's done. You know, he doesn't have Durant. They were really, and Steph Curry, he said it himself, he's petty. He knows everything everyone says. And now he's like making sure everyone knows, like, hey, you're the person that said this. Here, you're the person that did this to me. Even Boston's fan were talking shit about his wife that she can't cook or something like that.
That crazy.
They made shirts and pins and they gave them out to fans. And he just happened to catch one, and he just took pictures afterwards. And so it was like, so those fans, like I would never go after somebody's wife.
That's wild. That's
You know what I'm saying? Or stuff like that.
The way the Celtics fans were going hard at Draymond Green, and he had the smallest impact like on the court. I mean, obviously, like his game is more in the head. Like whatever, he's not the greatest shooter or whatever, but his stuff is all here. But the way he had the crowd going crazy every time he like took free throws, they were saying "F you, Green" or Draymond, whatever. Yeah, I'm like, that's hilarious. Like he was in their head the whole series.
Yeah. The thing with Draymond, so he's the type of player that he never does anything wrong, but he's doing everything wrong.
Okay.
So it's like, yo, there's a camera.
Turn a blind eye.
The thing is, yo, there's video. We see exactly what you just did again and again and again. And it's always, that's not what I meant. And like he literally tackled 3 dudes. Like just tackled him to the ground. And it's just, I was really surprised the guy didn't get him and just start swinging because it just looked so flagrant.
I didn't even think they called the foul.
No, they didn't. That's what I'm saying. Like he grabbed him and just slammed him on the floor. And I was like, what just happened? And he just kept getting up. But he made it seem like he got in my way. I was going that way. And I was like, come on. There's a camera again. We can see what's happening.
The thing is, too, like I said, I don't like the Celtics. They have a good team, though. Like, they're just young. They need a veteran to, like, help guide them. Because if you saw in the final game, Warriors of the finals, Game 6, there was a couple plays that I think Gary Payton, number 2, he like fouled or somebody, like he did something stupid, and then you see Iguodala come off like from the bench and like, hey, young guy, like do this. Like, I don't think the Celtics really had that, like a veteran on the bench, because in like the second quarter of that game, they fell apart. I mean, obviously the Warriors are great, but I felt like they didn't have that veteran leadership because that's their first time in the finals. But I think they have a lot of upside. I think
it had been 13 years that the C's were in the finals.
2008 or 2009.
I forget what the number was.
Yeah,
it was
it
was surprising for me. I was like, wow, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, the Lakers beat them.
Yeah, so to piggyback off of what he's saying, I still believe that there's certain players in the NBA that you got to have in your team to make it far. For example, PJ Tucker is a player that I think every team needs. He keeps getting traded. I don't know why. It's like, just pay that guy and have him on your team.
He's old. He just signed a 3-year contract with I think. He's 37.
Yeah, but that's the thing that...
Like the leadership mindset?
It's not just leadership. It's
toughness.
He's tough. He plays defense.
He need a dog.
So everything you need somebody else to do, because that's the thing. The game of basketball has so many things you have to do. It's not just score.
Right.
So there's players that if I can't score, I'm going to do there's 89,000 things and you guys to score. And he's that type of guy that will take pride in doing everything.
If you look at every championship team, they have one. They have, you go all the way back, Rodman was that guy. He was like the enforcer. Ron Artest of the Lakers when they won with Kobe. Like every team they have one. Warriors have they have Draymond. So they always have a dog to really And Smart, I guess, is their toughest, like.
He is, but when you're talking about leader, I really think the Celtics should have gone back and gotten Rajon Rondo. I'm telling you, he's not the same guy. But this is the thing.
From a veteran on the.
That's what I'm saying. So the thing with Rondo is he's not the same guy as far as the quickness that he had and the tenacity, but he's still a point guard that knows how to play the game, passes the ball when he needs to, and plays defense. I wish they would have had. I like Pitcher, their backup point guard, but I think they need a Rondo there to run that team. Because what happens is, I think they had a good team to match up against the Warriors. It's just that Jason Tatum didn't come through. He was really much the only one that just didn't come through and just.
Jaylen Brown played ball.
Right, he balled.
He said in a post game interview, he said we're not scared of the Warriors. And I believe that he said that. I believe that he believed that.
Right.
But when you go to Game 6, everyone else, like when the Warriors. They took a lead. They were like, it was like 24 to 22. The Warriors finally took a lead. They looked like they got punched in the face and they didn't know what to do. But the only one that was still locked in was Brown. Like Tatum was kind of like, and after that, Wiggins was in his
man
butt.
Yeah.
He was in there.
So I heard some stuff, and I'll let you guys speak on this. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard a lot of gas about like just how horrendous the officiating's been. Is that the fans talking shit, or is that like, no, actually these are horrible calls?
I think it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
I would say as a basketball fan and a person that's played basketball like in high school and stuff, the way they officiate basketball games in the NBA is completely different. For example, like a travel in high school basketball is anything more than 2 steps. In the NBA, they have something that's called the 0 step or the gather step.
Yeah, it's gather. Yeah.
Where you gather the ball. So technically, you have up to three, and then sometimes a little graceful.
Yeah. Depending on how, like, your rock star status.
Yeah. So people look at that. Oh, travel. Yeah. And kind of
technically, yes.
For us, yes,
yeah,
but
right.
in the NBA, no. And then sometimes there's a little like a foot shuffle, like you said, it's a superstar factor. That stuff can be detrimental at the end of the game, though.
Yes,
but for the most part, I don't think that happens at the end of the game often. I think there's one one rule that I heard a ref say, or a concept that they go by. You ever seen like when someone drives to the basket and there's like a late whistle, like they miss a shot, then they call it just like, oh, that was a late call.
Yeah.
So apparently their mindset is, if we see a foul and the game has been running like a little slow, we wait until the ball goes in or not to determine whether it's a foul.
Okay.
So if we see that he drives and he makes it, to not slow down the progression of the game, we're not going to call a foul because he made the ball. But if he misses it, we're going to. So I'm like, I'm like, that could be. That's like
a little speculative,
because at that point it's like discretion. So that can be kind of like, because at the, let's say that was in the third quarter, and let's say it was a foul, but they made it. Yeah, they could have had a potential and won. At the end of the game, if they lose the game by 1, you're like, yo, like,
right,
that's wild.
That call, right? Exactly. See, but that's also like the magic of sports, right? Is because like you get like, wait, you get so much time, and within this time, like you have to deliver, you have to win, right? And if the reason you won was some bullshit and it came down to the wire and it was 1 point because of this shitty call in the third quarter or whatever, like that sucks. Like taking an L on something like that is the worst, because then you have to live with that. And then they talk about it on the radio for 2 weeks.
It's everywhere. The next 2 weeks. Oh, look at this play. If you slow it down here.
Right. Everything is like, people talk, and that's the thing. Like, obviously, these guys wouldn't have jobs if they didn't do this. But, like, you got to have commentary. You got to have an analyst. You got to have people dissecting every little bit of content, right? Sports trivia, this, that, and the other. And on the one hand, like, I'm here for it. But on the other hand, yeah, it is kind of bullshit. It's kind of bullshit,
Well, the thing is that the NBA was rigged. There was a time, Tim Donahue, I don't forget his last name. He was an NBA ref that was working for the mob to, like, fix games.
I remember this. This was like 90s?
In the 2000s.
It's like late 90s, early 2000s, I believe.
It rings a vague bell.
I remember Lakers versus Sacramento. That game was rigged.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So there's certain games that did have, some shit going on. So when that happened, then he was found out, he was, exposed. Yep. It was huge. So everybody's like, oh, wait a minute. So was it for this time? Why has it been for years? So this is just the time that it was exposed. That's what I'm saying. So we don't know when. So recently he had an interview. There's just 2 old players, Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Will, have a podcast now.
Oh, they do.
And they had Tim Donahue as a guest.
Wow.
Tim and Rasheed hated Tim. I'm talking about, he waited for him outside. Let's fight.
Rasheed was crazy.
So Tim Donahue, he takes the story. It's funny because he recounts the story on something happened, blah, blah. Either he called a foul or gave Rasheed a technical. Whatever that was, Rasheed got really upset. Game's over. Tim's ready to go home. She's outside. Yo, blah, blah, blah. And Tim Donahue said he squared up, but he knew he was going to get his ass kicked. Yeah. But what was he going to do? Run or, oh, sorry? No. But she was like, let's fight. So he was just, and then so people saw it and somebody came and stopped it, but he thought he was going to die, he said, because Rasheed was really mad at him. And really so they start speaking, and then Rasheed starts asking him all these questions that he have from, hey, about this game, about that. was that game break? Was that? So he was honest. He was like, no, that game wasn't. And he said the games that were. And when he say the games that were, it's just there were some players that ref will get together. Hey, Kobe Bryant is playing tonight. We got a tape from Phil Jackson saying this is all the times he was fouled and we didn't call. So a ref might be like, all right, we got to tighten up. So now they're gonna start calling more fouls on when Kobe drives the lane and stuff like that. So he starts breaking down that sometimes players, refs have players that they like and players that they don't like, and they're not gonna call fouls unless it's like really obvious foul. But if it's a player that they receive tapes and the NBA is saying, hey, you guys got to check out these tapes, hey, we got to call the fouls. So he breaks that down how it is.
That's interesting.
So yeah, so when I watched that video and he breaks it down, it was like there's definitely some shit going on that was at that time, but what's to say that it's still not going on now? So that's what I'm saying.
Exactly what I was thinking. Like, yeah, it seems like that's the kind of thing that would still probably be happening currently in modern day.
But it's very interesting the way he breaks it down. If you have a chance, definitely watch it.
Because there's some plays, there's some foul calls that can change the whole momentum of a game.
Mm-hmm.
And it could just be like one like stupid foul or a charge. And next thing you know, the team that favored off of that is on a run because like momentum.
Yeah.
Like you can't really define momentum. It just happens.
It just happens, yeah.
You watch a game.
It's like electricity, yeah.
And then they're just going, you know the ball's going to go in because they got momentum. You're just like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some fans, obviously, people are extreme about it. Some people are annoying. They'll call, that's a foul, you know. This. I'm like, come on, man.
So would you guys say in terms of like, you know, recent finals, like where does this rank in terms of like, you know, I don't want to say ratings per se, but like entertainment factor? Like, would you say like there was like quality basketball, or would you say like it was just kind of like, it was the finals? Because, you know, like sometimes, I mean, granted, it didn't go down to the wire, didn't go to like the game 7, right? Mm-hmm. But like every now and again, you have one of those like where the experience that you were alive for, that you got to witness something amazing, right? Did it feel that way, or did it feel just like another, you know what I'm saying?
I do. I just didn't see it. I saw it from one team, the Warriors, as far as what Stephen Curry did.
Yeah.
Like he cemented himself being a top 10 player now of all time. But I don't think it was a great finals. I wouldn't call it a great finals.
Yeah.
It was a good finals.
Kind of average.
Yeah. And again, it's because one star came through, but the other side for the team didn't.
Yeah.
So when that happens, it's kind of like,
I think it was good. I don't think it was like in the record books. I think it had entertainment value.
Sure.
Because the games were close. But like when I think of like a great finals, like I need both superstars to go like the finals with LeBron, the Cavs and the Warriors.
Right, that
they came back from 3-1. Mm-hmm. LeBron played his butt off the whole time. That was one of the greatest finals because he was that the one that he went up against the 79 and 9 Warriors, or was that the year before?
No, I think so. I think it was that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. It was the one that didn't have Kevin Durant.
Okay, yeah, because the year after that they got Durant.
Right.
So like he was down 3-1 against the best NBA record, in history.
Yeah.
And to come back, I mean, he had a phenomenal finals.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Impressive.
Before that, I don't know what else to me was
the finals?
Yeah, for finals. I don't know what was that.
It was the Celtics and Lakers when Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen.
That was 2008 or 2009?
The last
around
time.
there, yeah. Yeah, the Lakers and Celtics, that was some of the best. Because they used to go far. It used to be like 6 or 7 games.
Yep.
So it was good.
Man.
And that's like a historic rivalry too. So like it had that.
Yeah, West Coast,
value.
East Coast.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of you Freudian slipped Kevin Durant. Why does he get so much hate? Like I'm not like a diehard basketball fan. As I've mentioned previously, I kind of casually watch, but like I feel like he gets a lot of shit. What is the origin of that?
He's a punk.
Okay.
So
he's a baby.
He's a great player.
Sure.
Let's get that.
Yep.
And a lot of people line him as a great player, and I think that comes with it. When you're great, you're gonna get some backlash. But the thing is, he is a diva.
Okay.
And he is very easy to get a rise of because it's first of all, he got caught with a ghost account for Twitter. It's a burner, something like that.
Yeah.
Basically, he got caught defending himself.
Hilarious.
Like what? So he will defend himself.
Dude.
Like, so anyways, so Charles Barkley, which is one of my favorite just people of all time, kind of sniffed this out, and every time he has a chance to take a shot at Durant, he does. And the latest one was that he needs to be a bus driver of a team because he's always, either the passenger or the back. So everybody started going at him. I was like, oh my God. So yes, he was technically the bus driver to that Warriors team when they won, but
the bus driver as in the leader of the team in that scenario.
See, well, that's the thing. I don't think he was a leader of that. It's still Steph.
Yeah.
He was the best player of that team. You want to call him that? Sure. He was the most talented player.
Okay.
Stephen Curry is a leader and captain of that team.
Got it.
That's it. If you want to come in and join them, which I think that's where Barkley's going, a great player, then I get it. But that wasn't his team.
It was it was already there.
It was there.
You came to it.
Yeah.
I got you.
He's a great player, but when you really break down like his career, he doesn't show up when it's game time. Like he won 2 championships, but he also was surrounded by 2 of the best shooters in the league. So you got
convenient.
It's like Durant is probably one of the greatest shooters in the league as well. So now to be with Steph Curry, that they can't leave him open. You can't leave Klay Thompson open. I mean, it's going to be easy. But when you put him in the Nets, that they didn't have many options, that boy got locked up this year.
Oh yeah. Yes, that, and also the Nets are, I don't know what they're doing right now. The organization is just.
It's been like that.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry. Did you say the Knicks or the
Nets?
Okay.
The Nets. So when it was the New Jersey Nets, actually that's my team. Like that's my team. Now when it came to Brooklyn and that Russian dude bought it, everything just became. It was a shit show.
Wait, hold up. Does Jay-Z still have an ownership stake in the Nets?
No, I don't think so.
First of all, it was very tiny.
Okay.
It was like a small share.
All right. Why did I think? All right. Go on.
He doesn't anymore.
Okay. Wow.
And I know he doesn't anymore because before he used to be in every single Brooklyn Nets game. Now you can barely see him there. Now he's in the Warriors game.
I think he had to sell it to be a part of the NBA.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he did a good job because at the beginning, the Barclays Center, people were going.
I don't know if it was the NFL or I think he started an agency. Something like that. He started like a player agency. Either that or
like talent scout type of thing.
Yeah, or just like player management. He either created that. It was either that or his deal with the NFL.
Okay,
one of those.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Again, once you get to mogul status, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
which is wild. So yeah, Durant is just a great player, but the off court stuff. Like you can get a rise, like you can get a rise out of him easy. I think when I watched one of the ESPYs, I think Peyton Manning was lighting him up.
Yeah. Oh my God!
And Durant was just sitting there like in the front row, serious.
Yeah.
Like you got to know like that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to just take it. Just
you gotta smile, man.
Yeah. And he was just serious. He was.
If you give people bait like that, it's
gonna get worse.
Hurting your feelings,
right? Exactly.
Okay. Let me just lather up here.
And that's, well, I don't want to get to that Chris Rock stuff, but that's why I believe that what Chris Rock was doing is very okay.
Yeah.
Like, there was no need for, so it was like, no, he's doing his job. He's just doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
But anyway.
Jane?
Huh?
Yeah. The G.I. Jane joke?
Yeah. But anyways, let's not get to that anymore because that's just been beaten down to the point. But
thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. And thank you for listening. If you're listening on the audio-only version of the podcast, you can find that on anchor.fm/the Offbeat. And of course, you can always find us on youtube.com/freakydigital. Hopefully trying to get this website going here so we can have the Offbeat in its own on its own home and its own thing on its own platform. But that also means we have to hit the reset button and start over. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Anyway, Shannon, thank you again for being a part of the pod. We always appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for this awesome facility that you have us in.
Word.
It's a great time. And I guess till next time.
All right.
We'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.